I found myself in a bit of a conundrum recently. You see, I love the Owl House. I started watching the show between episodes 17 and 18 of season 1, and I've adored so much about it ever since. The writing is smart, the humor consistently hits, the art direction is as beautiful as it is unsettling, the animation reaches absolutely stellar heights, and the characters are so well done. From our disarmingly charming, excitable protagonist Luz Noceda, to our cynical, gold-hearted criminal of a mentor Ida the Owl Lady, even to our cold, manipulative main villain Emperor Belos, they all operate on their own consistent internal logic, and while some are given more screen time for us to see just how deep their flaws run and how they've become who they are, even those who seem a lot more one-note get moments that break our expectations of who they are or how they would react in a given situation. But amidst this cast of lovable misfits and well-rounded witches, one in particular caught my eye that a lot of people didn't seem to pay much mind to: the Emperor's assistant, Kikimora. I don't know if it was her amazing design by Marina Gardner or the incredible voice work Mela Lee does for her, but I was fascinated by this little hand gremlin even from her first brief appearances. I was excited at the prospect of seeing more of her in season 2. Sure enough, the season preview gave us a brief shot of her, and she was even featured in the opening sequence. Halfway through the season, we had gotten her in as many episodes as we had in the whole of season 1, with 2 giving her nearly as much screen time by themselves as she'd gotten in all of her previous appearances combined. I was absolutely thrilled we were getting more of this character I'd become so interested in. As for everybody else, well... Okay, we hadn't really gotten much of Kiki before to cement her as anything besides a loyal, high-ranking minion, and that didn't really change much after the 3 episodes she was in for the first half of season 2. More than that, a loud portion of the fandom hated her for it. Now, I won't at all excuse the actions she took that led to that hatred. She made an effort to kill a teenager who would quickly become one of the most beloved characters in the series, she captured another new favorite when they tried to rebel against the Emperor, all kinds of amoral at best, detestable at worst actions to get that cancel Kiki train to roll on at full steam ahead. Even so, I never quite felt like the show would leave her purely in that position. Like with other characters in the show, there were little touches I saw in her and those in similar positions as her that led me to believe she'd wind up being more sympathetic than she had been, sooner or later. Shortly after the first half of the season ended, I started throwing together ideas for my first video on this channel, which would go into Kikimora's actions, why she may have taken those actions, those little touches that add more to her than her characterization as a scheming little weasel, comparisons to other characters both within and outside of the series, speculation about what may be going on behind the scenes with her, and it would cap off with that most pervasive question when it comes to modern villain analysis: would she be redeemed? I got the script written, the voiceover recorded, and because I have the best work habits, got started on editing the video less than 2 weeks before the season 2B premiere. The material I'd arranged for the video seemed like it'd wind up being about 30 minutes long, and while I was uncertain that I'd be able to get it done before the premiere, or that many people would be even interested in a video that long about a character that unpopular, I was hopeful that I'd be able to get it done and put forth my best work, injecting everything I could into the conversation around this smug little turd that would get at least some people to think about her in a new light. Even if it came out past the premiere date, I felt like I would have something valuable to contribute to the fandom in defense of a character that I really like, looking past what little development we'd seen with her in the 29 episodes we'd gotten to make some predictions about what she was going through and where she would end up. And then Follies at the Coven Day Parade came out. God, I am so happy this episode exists and so frustrated at myself for not having gotten my damn video done earlier. There was a whole lot I speculated on in it that either gets proven, disproven, or expanded on in some other way with this episode. Yes, I could just be saying this to make myself look good, but hey, not like you'll ever know. This is without a doubt the episode with the single most character development we've gotten for Kiki, bar none. And yes, she does ultimately end up in basically the same place by the end of the episode as she'd started in, but let's get some terms straight here. When a character goes through some kind of change, usually meant in an internal fashion, how they act toward others, what they believe, that kind of thing, that's character progression, or character growth, the latter usually being used in a positive connotation while the former is a bit more neutral. Character development is when we learn more about the character, their history, motivations, things that tend to be a lot more tangible than the changes that character progression brings. Let's use another character from the Owl House to further illustrate the difference between the two. But who to choose? Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, you. Lost in Language was the first episode to give us a real heaping spoonful of both character development and progression from Miss Amity Blight. Learning she likes to read to kids, that she has 2 older siblings who enjoy teasing her, and that she has a secret hideaway and likes the Good Witch Azura series is all character development. It shows that there's been more sides to her this whole time that we haven't gotten to see with the lens of snobbish bully overachiever we've been looking at her through. As the episode goes on, we see some cracks start to form in the facade of antagonism that she's been projecting, as Luz's goofy, lovable self starts to get to her. By the end of the episode, she admits she might have been wrong about how she saw Luz, and even starts to reflect on how she'd acted in light of this. This admission, the changes we've seen in how she presents herself, that's character progression. This is why it bothers me that I've seen some people say that the behavior Kikimora exhibits for the first half of this episode is out of character. How much did we even know about her character before this? We knew she was loyal to the Emperor, believed all the mythology behind him, and would go to low moral extremes to accomplish her goals, but this is all stuff that applied to Lilith and Hunter as well, the other 2 prominent, high-ranking members of the Emperor's Coven, and they've both gone through ample development at this point. We only saw Kikimora as a conniving rat because, well, that's basically all we'd ever been shown of her. But would you really be satisfied if they went through the whole show developing only 2/3 of the Coven Trio? Oh yeah, the Coven Trio is what I call these 3. I don't know, I just like it. They're grouped together in the opening. You get it. She's always been handling Coven business when we've seen her, and she clearly enjoys being so close to the top, but between the Palisman mission and the journey to Eclipse Lake, she's been slipping lately. And what better time to show that she actually has some things going on outside the Coven, things that she may genuinely want but conflict with her need to work harder to prove her worth. This was another thing that I saw people missing about the episode. Kikimora did not set up Luz from the beginning. Her dilemma, the conflict between going to see her family or else being banished from her home, and attending to her Coven duties or else being banished from her chosen life's purpose, was real. It's the whole thing that sparks Luz to want to help her in the first place, since it mirrors her own situation. And how could Kikimora have known Luz's situation and come up with something so similar for a ploy? Oh yeah, let's not forget Kikimora's family was going to banish her from her home if she didn't abandon her Coven duties to go see them. The Emperor's Coven is obviously terrible, but parents who would do that to their child for so petty a reason, hell, for just about any reason, are awful too. But I wouldn't fault her for wanting to see her family even in light of that, so her agreement to Luz's crazy plan is understandable. Of course, once our latest antagonist and local weed grandma, Tara, starts talking out loud about a supposed promotion for Kiki, it's pretty easy to guess where the episode is going. All the development she's received doesn't progress her anymore past the side of her we've been most exposed to. The conniving little shrimp who would do anything to climb the ranks of the Coven. And even the chance of that happening is enough for her to ditch the idea of seeing her family ever again. Damn it, Kikimora, I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you! When Tara shows up to put a stop to Kiki's attempts to capture Luz and Amity for the Emperor, we're told the promotion is real. That everything that's happened was a test of Kikimora's loyalty. She's so excited she passed. She's finally about to get the reward she's been working so hard to.
You get to live.
And here is where the cold, harsh reality of Kikimora's situation comes crashing down on top of her. She's not in a position to climb through the ranks. She's not even in a position where she can afford to make one more mistake. Her very life now depends on her success in the Coven. This is the closest thing to character progression she gets in the episode. The realization that her situation is far too precarious for her comfort. That her earlier, hysterical line about the possibility of being banished from her life is all too true. This connects to something I've seen in all of the Coven trio, that their true goal will always be denied. Lilith wanted more than anything to see Ida's curse cured, but when that chance finally comes, Belos tells her that she was so naive to think that would happen, that Ida is to be dealt with as the Titan intended. Hunter wants to help Belos heal from his curse, but any opportunity he takes to prove he can help with it is answered with...
My apologies. I spoke out of turn.
Belos abusing a child in his direct care. That's neat. While we don't know why she wants to climb to the top, Kikimora has always been denied the chance to prove herself. She offers to go after the residents of the Owl House. Belos says that the Golden Guard will spy on them instead. She goes to aid when Belos has a bout of smoker's lung in the middle of a Covenhead meeting. The Golden Guard says he has it covered. The one time she was given a chance to prove herself was on a mission to a notably dangerous part of the Isles for a treasure that wasn't even there. Whatever it is that develops with Belos, it's pretty clear that his words are hollow. That no matter what you do in his name, there is no reward for you at the end of it all. And unfortunately for Kikimora, even if she comes to this realization, She may be in too deep to get out now. I'm honestly really excited to see where Kikimora's character goes from here. That realization of just how screwed she is may have some real effect on her character, and we may start to get to see some progression from her. Even so, I want to address one final group of people. Those who are incredulous or even rude about others who still don't like her. However she changes from here, as it stands, the Kikimora we know is still the Kikimora we were introduced to. She has made no amends for her actions. She still pulled the lever on Ida's petrification, she still tried to kill Hunter, she still left Amity to be thrown down a pit. People who disliked her before are free to keep disliking her, and they'll be free to keep disliking her even if she changes. She will still have done terrible things, and besides that, it's annoying to tell people how to enjoy their media. Quit it! Kikimora has had difficulty with juggling her own failures and her desire to see her family, and you can love her for that. Kikimora is also a petty, cutthroat snake of a villain, and you can hate her for that. Personally, I just can't wait to see where she ends up by the time the Owl House comes to its end. Its entirely premature end, god dang it, Disney!